How's RTX? It's Sunday and we're all tired, but how's RTX? Raise your hand if you've been to this panel before. Cool. If you have not been to this panel before, they will be kicking and punching and it will be awesome. I'm telling you now. No, we're really excited to be able to do this for a third time at RTX. The first time we tried it, it was phenomenal. It's kind of a breakdown, if you will, of how we do fights for both Red versus Blue and RWBY and all the shows that we do. It's kind of the step-by-step process and the philosophy, and we're going to be talking about the animation end and the MoCap end and the fight end. But before we get into all that, let's go down the line and introduce everybody. My name's Koen. I am the producer of RWBY and Red vs. Blue.
My name is Joe Nicolosi. I am the writer and director of this season of Red vs. Blue.
My name is Carmichael Simon. I'm the fight coordinator for RWBY and Red vs. Blue.
Dustin Matthews, co-lead animator at Rooster Teeth.
I'm Joel Mann. I'm also co-lead on Rooster Teeth.
Hi, my name's Newman, and I am a fight animator.
So what's super cool about this is that we're going to be able to talk about some stuff that hadn't been released yet last year. You know, we're going to be able to talk about Mercs a little bit. We weren't able to do that in full last year, because that came out right around the time we were doing this. But also, too, we're going to be able to talk about RWBY 4, which came out way after RTX. We're going to be able to talk about, how, you know, the way that we worked with fights this season, things that we learned, things that we improved upon. But let's just kind of start with the basics again. Hey, Carmichael, why don't you take it away and talk about what you do?
Sure, no, absolutely. So this is our third year, right, for Red vs. Blue and RWBY. One thing that's important is trying to find the proper talent to be able to orchestrate the motion capture. You know, these are professionals with the animation, and we want to make sure that we bring motion capture, you know, as well to life. So let's start off with a performance so you guys can see sort of what we look at as martial artists on how we find talent and the type of skill sets that we look for when we conduct a fight scene and you know, originally do the production of these fight animations. So we have Alex Scott, come on up. So he's gonna do a performance for you. This is a national competitor. He's also a tricker, so if you guys are obviously gamers, you guys probably follow a tricking community as well. So we do compete at a high level, and this is where the majority of the choreography does come from and the talent that we find globally to help Rooster Teeth. Give him love, guys. All right, give him a hand, guys. You know, one thing is, especially this community that's in here right now, this is a full circle, right? If you guys have grown up in the 80s and the 90s, a lot of this stuff, you know, through video gaming is something that we wanted to do in real life, right? Before, there was wires and tricks and everything to that extent. So as competitors and watching animators and gaming, as martial artists, that we wanted to bring it to life. 20 years later, 30 years later, this is what we see. It's become full circle. It's nice to see the martial arts community as well as the action and gaming community work hand in hand synonymously, especially through Rooster Teeth. Good job, Alex. Thank you. Woo!
Very cool. Hey, do you want to show any clips of some cool stuff you guys are doing?
Absolutely. So we're looking at here.
So here's the thing. So bear with me, guys. We had a bit of a technical malfunction this morning, which seems to be the way I'm rolling this weekend. And we're pulling everything from YouTube. Luckily, it's like our database now. So we'll just, do you guys remember the fight from Mercs, the very first one? Cool. You want to watch it again with us? Awesome.
This is an exciting fight, and we actually had the talent here to perform for you, and I'll introduce some of the stunt actors here.
All right.
So I think before we introduce the stunt actors here, maybe it's a conversation for Dustin and Joel and I, is the concept of the silhouettes and how this sort of came together. I know Miles isn't here, so that obviously he's the one that directed along with us. But when you guys were storyboarding, before you brought us in, sort of what was the concept on the Merc side of this?
I guess from the beginning, Miles wanted it to be like to a beat, so we had picked out a track like really early on, and so Austin is not here, but he worked on that with me, and from the very beginning we had a song, and so every time like these guys came in and did we captured the whole thing, but then because we had a song and it had to be on beat, Austin and I had to find places where we could kind of trim and make it where all the punches, every time there's like a shot or like a bullet comes out or something or a hit, it's always on beat. So it's like taking what you guys had done and then like making it fit to the song that Miles had actually picked out for us, which is still always stuck in my head.
No, it's a great episode. Did you guys like that episode? Very nice.
You want to show the next one?
Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead to go to the, what is this?
Cyrus bit?
The Cyrus, episode 11, Consequences.
We'll do a little lead up to it, because I love this episode. Cool. Yeah, function. All right, here we go. Here it goes. It's gonna go big, I promise. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Very cool. Let me ask you, do we have anything to show as far as that's concerned?
Absolutely. It's interesting that last show, I would say, before we were able to speak about it, that was probably some of the funnest work. I did enjoy 13. 14 was even better. 15 is even better. And it's interesting. Every year this thing progresses for us as talent. And watching it over again, it's very refreshing for me to see. Let's go ahead and bring up the talent here from season 14. Let's go ahead. Armando, come on up, buddy. All right, here's our B-boy, Armando. Woo! So he is I would say the female of in the club. Mazan, if you can stand up, please. This is the salsa dancer. All right, I want you guys to give Armando a steady beat clap. And he's gonna B-boy for a little bit, show you some of the moves that we did. He's gonna get it. Hey.
That's amazing.
Martial arts is a fusion, right? Some of you guys have done martial arts in the past. Everything is sort of broken up to like CrossFit and yoga and such. But growing up in martial arts, you get some of the breakdancing elements, the hard style, the soft style. You get the MMA part of it, and you get the CrossFit part. But growing up, it's sort of synonymous all in one when you deal with body movement. And then being able to put it to music is very important, at least to get that steady beat and that rhythm, which is always nice because it's sort of like Taibo, I would say. Bad analogy, but it's probably the only one that is somewhat relevant. But to be able to put this out and create the choreography with a lot, the talent that we have has definitely been a pleasure.
Very, very cool. Thanks for doing that. It was amazing, amazing. So you want to talk about maybe another little show that we do? It's a small show. We call RWBY.
Yes, just a small.
No, I think so. The first time we ever worked with Carmichael was on Red vs. Blue season 13, and it was we knew we wanted to try some really cool things with that season. That was a really kind of a big time for us because we were trying to figure out our pipeline. We're trying to figure out who we were as an animation team. I mean, Rooster Teeth has always made animation, but it was the first time we actually had a team and we were going to make rolling productions. We decided at that time if we were going to continue with fights for that we were going to hire a coordinator, and we found Carmichael, which was super, super cool. And along the way, we started figuring out, hey, his team does such great jobs. How can we incorporate it into RWBY? So we were able to do that, and this season we did the same thing. There was a fight in Chapter 9.
Yes.
And it happens between Yang and Tai Yang.
Yes.
Kind of talk about that inception a little bit.
No, it was nice. The last couple of years we've been working with the animation team specifically to do choreography, actually training them on at the studio, which definitely helps because what it does is allows the animators outside of stroking and drawing, etc., is to put them in a position so they can not only respect the martial arts side of it, but also the martial artists respect the side of the animation. So working hand in hand, we were able to train them. We trained them in obviously empty hand. We also trained them in Cali stick fighting with regards to extension of the hand. So they understood that if it was a sword, if it was a stick, whatever it was, even a long javelin of some sort, that it's still an extension of the hand, that they can orchestrate and understand the movements when they're actually piecing everything together. So that was always fun working with the animation team. So anybody in the animation team that's trained with us, stand up, please. And the nice thing about it is some of the animators continue to train, right? And it does help. It's sort of like a career advancement, work-life balance play sort of thing all the time, which really helps because when we come on set and we actually do the movements, they can actually construct it a little bit faster. They can have their discussions and dialogues faster. So when they are editing or doing storyboards, the process, as you said, the pipeline streamlines a lot more efficiently. But as for episode 9, it was great, right, to orchestrate that fight and be able to take the next level of RWBY from what we did in season 3 into season 4.
So before we watch this clip, talk a little bit about the process when a director, or when we call you and say, hey, Carrie or Miles or
Yes.
Joe wants to talk to you about a fight, what happens next?
I go into the studio, try to find the break room first, grab my coffee, and they have free snacks back there, so I grab that, we sit back, and basically it's a discussion of storyboarding, right, whiteboarding, and basically just talking through the script. A lot of the ups and downs in the conversation through the scripting is trying to find out what the storyline is, where we want to place the fight, and what the dialogue is happening. And then from there is trying to understand, obviously, the antagonists and protagonists, but also who's supposed to win or lose, and how many seconds should the fight be. What I usually do is, it's sort of like a dance, 4-8 counts, could be anywhere between 10 seconds to 32 seconds. But it depends on the pace of the fight. We have to know who the characters are, how fast they move, who's the aggressor, who's obviously the one that's the strongest one, and whoever's the weakest one, and sort of have that dialogue. And what we usually come back with is a previs, and based on that previs is bringing it back to the director so they can review, timing it, extending it, or even shortening it. So most of the time we try to do more choreography than necessary. At times that, having enough in the pipeline allows the animators to be able to use more of that content, and they can piecemeal it wherever they want. But making sure that the storyline is there, the characters are being developed properly, the choreography is being shown, and then basically from there is that phone call to Koen or that email. I think we're good to go, and we get all sign-off and approvals, and then we're in studio doing MoCap.
How long does it typically take from the moment that you talk to the director to the moment where you have a finished product?
So a good comparison is if you take the Carolina Shark Face fight in season 13. That was probably 230 to 240 movements. That took us maybe an 8-hour day. That was a pretty long day. There's multiple fight scenes that were happening in that fight. As for the RWBY, possibly about 2 to 4 hours. So we break everything down in sections, and we'll show that to you today, is how we orchestrate basically 8-count sections, break the sections down, and then from there put it together, and sort of like conducting a symphony, right? Cool. Is putting everything together, probably about, like I said, about 2 to 4 hours.
Sounds great. And before we show this clip, I do have a question for the animators. Exactly what is y'all's interaction with Carmichael during the process? Are you guys in the MoCap booth? Are you in the meetings? Are you a part of the decision making at all?
Yeah, usually whenever we find out who's going to work on what each fight or whatever, and then once you know it's going to be your fight and Carmichael's working on it, he'll come in and then we'll kind of just talk about it. I think for the RWBY fight this year, me and Joe sat in a room with Carmichael and were like scribbling on the whiteboard, trying to figure out like, this is happening here, and then this and this, whatever. So once we decide who's going to animate the fight, then once Carmichael comes in, we're pretty much a part of the process. So. Yeah.
And we GoPro everything, right? So everything gets GoPro'd, and they get to, review it. If there's any additional questions, I get, obviously contacted. We come back in, review the content as well. And then at times, we'll look at, camera angles, what sort of looks the best, and obviously having the animators there live watching us as well. They get different perspectives, especially in that MoCap room with the amount of cameras. Everybody's getting a different perspective around that room.
Yeah, so usually I think they'll come in, you'll come in and do kind of a run through, and then that's when like whoever's directing it, if it's Carrie or Joe or Miles or whoever, it'll be like, they might see a move they did and be like, oh, maybe she wouldn't, kick that way or whatever, and then they'll kind of do like a run through, like a practice one, and then they'll go back, kind of make the changes, and then when they come to the MoCap to actually shoot the fight, then whoever's animating it is always there, and so you can say like, oh, that might be a problem, or maybe because how MoCap is, sometimes we might have to like, let's get that move like only capturing one person as opposed to like the 2 people actually fighting, because that you might need a pickup or something that you want to pull from, because you get cleaner data sometimes when it's just one person on the stage as opposed to like 2 or 3, depending on how many people are fighting. So if there's like a really complex thing, it's something we might have the other 2 actors step out and then just get like a move,
Absolutely.
Or like if something really complex, you might just get and then like stitch it into something else later.
So Dustin, Austin Hardwick, he animated the Chapter 9 fight, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that process he was very involved with.
Yes,
he was part of the meetings.
He was training and everything.
Yeah, he was. The animators take it extremely seriously. Everything they do, from an emotional scene or a fighting scene. So if that means they have to get in there into the MoCap room and bounce around in order to understand what's going on, that's what they're going to do. But beyond that, do you guys want to watch the fight with us? All right, let's do this. I promise I didn't do that. I don't computer well.
Burn brighter than 11 save you. Obviously. You definitely have your mom stubborn. You're an adult now, remember?
We're working on this. This is good. We're rewriting it.
Proud of how much of her I see.
Where's it coming? Where's it at? Oh, there it is. I found it. We're good. I promise I worked on the show. I'll leave it there. That's pretty awesome.
Sometimes when I watch these fight scenes, it's, the dialogue's very martial arts, right? It's being sloppy or being stubborn and then having that opportunity to go back, and try it again. And we always hear that from, being a martial artist with our masters. And I want to take a moment to, introduce Master Andre Allen. He's here today watching as well. All right, let's go ahead and, do you guys want to see this fight live?
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to break it down. There was a couple, obviously, questions with regards to when we do previs, when we develop the fight, as well as what it looks real time, right? So the 3 sections that you guys have seen, you guys will watch it. But what I do want you guys to watch, as you guys were here last year, what I want you guys to take a look at is the next level of how fast these guys can actually move. Because what we'll do is the first section of that fight scene was a lot slower frame-wise than what it actually is when you watch it live, okay, guys? Guys, go ahead and walk through it. and go. That was it. All right, let's go. Let's go full out. And this would happen about 4 times when we're working with Dustin and directors like Joel. Ready, full out, just that one section, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. A little bit faster. Good. Woo! Second section. And that happens 4 times, so they'll pick it up and let the system render. We'll go back in, T-pose, and then run it again. All right, let's go section 2. Move by move. Section 2. Hold it right there. There's dialogue. All right, thank you. All right, ready, and and then pull out. Ready, and I'll count it for you guys. 5, 6, 7, and go. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. 1 and there you go. Good. 2. There you go. All right, continue on. I think this is section 3, last one.
Oh, we're gonna go harder on that one?
You want to go harder? Or we're gonna... They're just getting warm. This is what happens when these athletes get warm and they want to go faster. Okay, let's go. Ready, guys? Same section and action. Section 3. Slow. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7. Set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead. 7 and throw. That's it. That was a throw. That was okay. Ready and full out and action. Throw him. You guys good? All right, let's go. Let's do the whole thing. Hey, let's go. Let's make it happen. All right, cameras out. Here we go.
Get the energy.
You get it
Come on,
now.
guys. Woo!
Let's go. And full out and action. Section 2, take a breather and action, go faster. Hold it and push. And breathe and explode. Go, action. Go, let's go, move. All right, that's awesome. Let's leave these guys out here real quick. Chance, if you want to grab the paddles. All right, I want you guys to see the how they train on a daily, per se. So we're going to do basic kicking all the way to tricking, okay, on paddles. So you can see the accuracy and the timing on how these guys do their forms into choreography and how they impact. So I don't want you guys just to think that these guys can't fight, because they can really fight, trust me. All right, go ahead, paddle out, right foot, just low roundhouse hip level. Just snap, there you go. Good, rotate, there you go. Do you want to take your shoes off? Fine, you good? That's fine. You got, thank you, go again. 360 round after this, sir. 360 round, tornado. This is how they start competing. 540. Oh, get it. Get it. Cheat 7. Actually, do double paddle, round kick, wheel kick first.
Round kick, wheel kick?
Yes, round kick, reverse hook.
Make it look easy, don't
All right, let's go cheat 7. Reverse hook kick.
Think we go live? Don't need no animation.
Hey! So just to let you guys know, July 20th is 720 day. So guys, I need you guys to do a pop 720 for me. So in 1994, fortunately, I was a competitor at the time and was the first one to throw a pop 720 in international competition. So on July 20th, that is tricking day. So given that, I'd like for you guys to throw a pop 7 for me. That's fine. There it is. Yeah! All right, go ahead and step out. Just have these guys trick a little bit.
Sorry, can I try that once real quick?
I'm good. No. Good, sir. If you guys want to take passes real quick, just so you can see combinations of raises and swing throughs and gainers and corks, I think it will show them the next level of how we've developed tricking with kicks. Something. Hey. You got one more in you? There it is. Good. Give me a hand, guys. One more time. All right.
So now we're gonna watch a fight scene from the latest season of Red vs. Blue. This is from episode 13, Tex versus Carolina, part something.
To do any permanent damage.
House lights.
Nice voice box, Optimus. You get that in a Cracker Jack box.
I'm gonna skip the dumb jokes.
Play action mix.
So congrats on that scene. That was our first time together trying to,
Is that your first Harry Potter audiobook soundtrack play?
No, it was funny because we were in our meeting. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna start shuffling music." I was like, "Okay, so is it sort of like what we did with Club?" No, we're gonna keep shuffling with different soundtracks from different genres. I was like, okay, how are we gonna do this? Right. So we had a few meetings, and this is the output, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, we played a lot of Born to Run.
Shout out to Kim for doing the flag stuff.
Oh. Thank you.
When we're trying to decide who was doing what part, that was the part that's probably the most difficult, because it's hard when you have to like hold stuff and make all that work, and it's just like, Kim can do it. It'll be fine.
I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah, it was terrifying watching them do that mocap. Like, I had to leave the area once in a while because I'm like, please don't die. And you're just like doing backflips. Your head's like this close to the ground. So yeah, it is wild seeing them do these moves.
Yeah,
live.
they also had like big like sticks in
Yeah.
their hand, and Paco, who runs the mocap shoots usually, he actually had to leave early that night. So I was running it, but like we were so scared someone was gonna hit the cameras, like the mocap cameras, and so like we were all just like,
It was really hard to direct that too, because they would do a take and then be like looking at me to direct, and I'd just be like, that was cool, dude, in the air.
I think it's so hard.
Hey, you guys should share with them what happened after we got all the content.
Oh my
No,
gosh,
we don't
no.
have to do that. The computer crashed after we did like 6 hours of mocap.
So like I said,
Oh no, he's not here. You can say it.
yeah, it's fine. He'll hear about it, whatever.
all
So
love.
so Paco, who usually runs our mocap shoots, had to leave that night because he got really sick. And so I was like, I can handle it, Paco, because I used to do mocap shoots and stuff. Like, just let me run it, and I won't mess anything up, I swear. You just need to go home. You're sick. Just go home. Don't worry about it. And he's like,
We have
"No, I need to
everything
be
under
here."
control.
I actually said, yeah, we have got everything under control. And so then we do the whole shoot, and the guys are like working really hard, and they're like doing all this shit, and it's stuff. And then at the end, like we're done, and we actually take a picture to tweet. We're like, oh yeah, first whatever big shoot for RWBY this year. And then I go back to the computer, and there's a sound that Motive, which is the software that we capture the mocap in, there's a sound it makes when it crashes, and I hadn't saved it. And I heard the sound, like I was like, oh, I think I actually said, oh shit, I better go save it. And then I walked around and I heard that sound, and I just sat down and I was like, it was just like, I couldn't even say words for a minute. And then I got up, and then like they were like, what happened? I mean, we still have it. What? I was just like, because it was a pretty long shoot. How long was the shoot?
Yeah,
It was
5
like
hours?
5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, and I thought that I just lost it all. So I kind of freaked out a little bit. And so Joe was actually there, and Carmichael.
Everyone starts running around screaming, throwing papers and stuff.
Well, I was like, Paco's never gonna go home like, sick again. He's never gonna trust me. And I was more worried about him. And then I was like, oh man, if we're gonna have to reshoot all that. And then so Carmichael had to like come and like calm me down and stuff. And then Joe's like, no, I mean we got him. I mean they're in the computer somewhere, right? And so like Joe like went detective mode or whatever. And I'll let you tell. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like sitting at the computer. I'm like, it's gotta be here. Surely God would not let this happen. And I found the files, and I'm like, I found the files. Because
Gray was there, because it was late night, and I was like, I've got to tell Gray what I did. So like go into Gray's office, and I'm like, Gray, I messed up, Gray. And then he's just like, we'll figure it out. You'll be all right. I was like, no, man, like he's never gonna trust me again, or something like that. And then like I hear Joe just like running from the other side of the studio. I found the files. We're okay. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I left early, and Austin was still there, and he's like, Kim. Yeah. Yeah. Like I had just left, and then Austin was like, everything's gone. I'm like, what do you mean everything's gone? I just left, everything was okay. And then I got a message like an hour later. It's like, oh, it's all back, it's all fine. I'm like, okay.
I think I like threw a water bottle at one point, and then when I was talking to Gray, then he was like, yeah, I heard the commotion, but I was just gonna kind of let it play out and see. I was like, okay.
That's
cool.
like 80% of his job.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, right? 5-6 hours of what you guys just saw live, right? So that's.
Carmichael was super cool about it though, because I was like,
Mr.
I was
Miyagi,
freaking out.
Definitely, Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, and he was like, it's okay. You know what? We'll come in tomorrow. We'll just reshoot it. And I was like, he was just calming me down. So.
That's cool. So let's do the last fight scene, which is the pole fight scene, and then we'll open up for questions, and hopefully we have answers.
Oh, this is the best.
Let's go ahead and walk through so you can see our spacing, because we have crowd control.
People on the edges, put on your helmets.
All right, ready? And go ahead, walk through it.
Oh man.
And we'll just do that.
Getting more flashbacks.
No, keep going, that's fine. There you go. All right, let's go full out. No more sweaty palms. There you go. There it is. Got to protect the audience. Ready? And action. Nice. Good job, guys.
Whenever we actually shot that scene, they had that like shiny stick that they have. We couldn't actually use it in MoCap because it's reflective, and that like it messes up. Like if it reflects in the dots, it just like messes up the MoCap. So we actually had to use this like big, huge like wooden like the big like thing we use for RWBY size sometimes. So they actually had an even bigger stick when they were doing it, like when we actually captured it.
All right, we have the mic.
So I think at this point we're going to open it up to a brief Q&A. Right. We have a microphone.
Do we have a guardian that's able to help?
Yeah. Where's the microphone?
We got it.
Oh,
the microphone is over there.
My bad.
That's fine. We'll take one right here. We're starting.
Yeah.
This is more about the RWBY fights, because I know some of the RWBY weapons get kind of crazy. Have there been points where, with the design team, you've been like, there's no way we're going to be able to animate a fight with the weapon that crazy, or anything like that?
We're just given that weapon, and it's like, okay, now do it. So, no.
Right here in the front.
Hi, so what kind of adjustments need to be made along all parts of choreography and animation when you're working with characters that are either significantly bigger or significantly smaller than what kind of actors you're working with?
So in a movement-wise, we play both type of characters, just for the simple fact that we have hardstyle artists who know Taekwondo or Hapkido, and obviously Thai boxing, or somebody who knows wushu, a Chinese, soft style. So for that, it's pretty easy with regards to movement. It's just the choreography. Height doesn't really is not really an issue because they can expand us, make us bigger, smaller, taller, whatever. So it's really, I would really on your side, Dustin.
Carmichael also has like enough research. Like he has enough people he knows that do it. Like Aaron Alexander, yeah.
Donna Brooks.
Yeah, so like if we have like, I think for the first fight in Mercs or whatever, like Aaron is like a bigger guy, so he actually played Locust, and like so Carmichael will do stuff like that on the fly to kind of like who makes sense to play what character, and that helps us a lot on our end because then we don't have to make as much adjustments, but it's not really that big of a deal for us. Like we can usually make it work when it gets on our side.
Yeah, you can use the same body mold too. I don't know which fight it was, but I was like fighting myself the whole time. It was like we did like one trick and a different trick, and I was the one that could do those moves, so they just took that mocap and put it into that character. Like, two going against each other.
Yeah, our tools are developed to where, any character, regardless of height, it basically kind of translates within the rig, and then in animation, obviously, if you have a bigger, heavy character, we'll go in, we'll slow down the movements and like hold on those beats more, and then for like a lighter character like RWBY, we just kind of like speed it up and make everything more fluid and light.
Great. Thank you for the question.
We got 3 more questions, I think, as long as they're quick. What's up?
Okay, yeah, so what were some of you guys' favorite fights to work on? Carmichael, for you to direct, animators for you to animate, performers for you to perform. What were some of y'all's favorites?
Let's start with the performers then.
Last fight scene was pretty cool because we did weapons, and weapons are always fun to play with because it makes the first time we brought Chance in, and I was like, yeah, dude, we're going to be fighting with bow staffs. And he's like, what? So we went and practiced for like 2 hours, and, you know, and that was pretty fun being able to come up with that choreography. I like that one.
For myself, it was club scene. I dance as well as do martial arts, so it was a nice exposure, fusion between movements.
I think for me it's probably the Crow and Tyrion fight, mostly because I got to work on the Crow winter fight the previous season. That was kind of like a tease of what he could actually do, and then with this season, it was like, okay, now we actually get to see what these two, really, superior fighters can actually really do.
Yeah, the Crow Tyrion fight was the best one to hand key, but I'd say as far as like the actual martial arts MoCap, the flag fight was just the coolest thing to work on.
Let's catch somebody over here.
Your choice.
Okay, I have a question for the animators. So, with pretty much all your work, at least with Rooster Teeth, you're using like humans or at least like bipedal, like 2 arms, 2 legs. In any experience, have you had to animate like fight scenes or really like high action scenes with non-human things, like extra limbs, wings, things like that? And how does it change the whole process?
Have you seen the Grim?
But like, how does that change the whole process?
Oh boy.
You don't. I feel like you don't have as much reference.
There
material.
are actually special MoCap suits for dogs that they use all the time.
Yeah, we actually brought a Nicolosi in and MoCap'd all that. So.
Yeah.
Made that up. I have to say
the
that.
dragon.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just different because it's easy to like get up and act something out as a human, but it's kind of hard to I think Joel has been up at his desk
he's been a gorilla before. Yeah, we all know.
Acting like a gorilla and stuff. So, yeah, it's just different. But I mean, most animators can just you just do it like look at a lot of reference and stuff.
Yeah, Spirited Away for the dragon in episode 3, RWBY 4, that big water dragon was good reference for that.
Yeah, and also add to that, with a lot of fights like that where it's not as much as hand to hand, but it's all these crazy characters doing crazy stuff. Although we can't get Carmichael and them to do stuff like that, we get inspired by them, and they're great reference to look at. One of the most important things for like fights even like that is that even though your characters are doing crazy things, it still has to look natural, have natural weighting and stuff. And these guys here, like, they use their entire bodies and they have full mastery of all of that. So, so in a sense, they kind of get to touch every fight because we get to look at them and they inspire us to even be, better fight animators and stuff like that.
We appreciate
Cool.
that.
We got time for probably 1.5 more. Let's do the one right there.
Hi. I have a question for the performers. I was wondering how you got into tricking and then into motion capture.
If the stunt team can move up here. And Armando as well. Come up in the front, guys. Alex.
I got into martial arts. I've been doing this for about like 23 years or something like that. Oh, yeah. So I really got into it because I liked like Ninja Turtles and all that cool stuff. And Ninja Turtles. Then my brother got into it, and I was a little brother, so I got jealous. He got into martial arts, so I started, and then from there I started competing, started going to martial arts tournaments, and just broadening my horizon from there. And then Carmichael kind of gave you a little breakdown the history of martial arts tricking. That started coming along once the internet started booming. I started seeing flips and tricks online, and I started trying in my backyard, and it just kind of evolved from there. And then throughout the years I've been able to use it for motion capture, stuff like this. So that's kind of my journey, how I got started.
Kind of same thing for me as Chad. I've been doing karate for like 20 years or so, and we did tournaments and got really good and got into the tricking. Same thing. When I was young, I used to see Chad at tournaments all the time, and he could do all the flips and tricks and stuff, and I didn't know him yet, so I'd walk up and I'd be like, hey man, how'd you do that? Show me how you did that move. And then he taught me a lot of stuff, and then he ended up getting me into this too, where I got to do this cool MoCap stuff, and it's so cool to see your moves go on screen to like a Halo character. That's like the coolest thing ever.
Man, yeah, that's some pretty incredible stuff they do, man. Give it up for them. Sure. Well, basically, I got into it through Carmichael. We worked on a movie together a while back, and he had this crazy idea. It was like, man, we have this club scene, and I think it would be cool to have some breakdance fighting in it. And he brought me in to do that, and I did it, and it worked out pretty good. I played the girl. She did a pretty good job. She played my role really good. But I've basically been breakdancing since I was a little kid, having fun with it, entering tournaments, traveling, performing around the world, and I'm just glad to be a part of this event and be here with y'all today. So, you know what I'm saying?
You know, it's always fun watching these guys do what they do and doing the performances and all the choreography, you know, and that's stuff I always look for. You know, look at whatever I watch, whether it's RWBY or a couple scenes from Red vs. Blue, you know, I always like to watch the breakdown of the fights, you know, see how they do it, see how they pull it off. And, you know, for me, it just started like watching all the videos, you know, martial arts videos, martial arts movies, you know, that's how I started. You know, and even some of the videos that, you know, Carmichael was in, like, I would watch a bunch of those, like, over and over and over again. So I'll be like, all right, I know what he's going to do next. He's about to do this move. Watch. Hold on. Oh, there it is, you know. So I always do that. And, you know, I got into, like, martial arts first, you know, Taekwondo for about 13 years. And then a few years ago is when I really got into the tricking, you know, like YouTube and everything was a really good outlet for that. It's a really good outlet for everything. You see a lot of, you know, guys come up through YouTube, through the different types of social media, you know, and that's what I always look at, you know, so all the new trickers and everything, watching the old generation, and then watching how the tricks and the moves that do evolves as it goes down to the newer generation, you know, so all that's really fun, you know, getting into all this stuff and everything. So I love watching this and, you know, doing what you guys do.
Cool. Well, we're about 4 minutes over time. But no one's yelled at me yet to stop, so I'm gonna do one more question as long as it's a short one. Let's go, red shirt. Pink shirt, hello, lightest red shirt.
Lightest red, there it is. Lightest red, sir. This is just real quick. How do you think to incorporate the special abilities of the various different characters? I'm thinking specifically of the dragon fight with Blake where she uses her duplicate to jump higher, or the fight between Tex and CT in season 10. I like those because it's very unconventional how they use their abilities. I'm just wondering how you think to add those into the fight. I mean,
both of those instances are the director usually.
Yes. But yeah, I actually animated the part where Blake and Sun use their semblance to go up, slash the dragon's wing, and goes down. Basically, Carrie handed me some reference, said, hey, kind of make it look like this and go wild. So I was like, cool. So I was given the freedom to kind of just do whatever I wanted once I was up into the sky. And I was like, so can she dodge just like a whole bunch of lightning? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I did it. And yeah, I was looking at like Final Fantasy as reference and stuff like that. Advent Children had some pretty cool stuff to look at. And yeah.
Cool, well let's give it up. One more big round of applause for these amazing performers, the animators, Carmichael. Thank you guys.
Hey guys, there's an overflow room. I think it's room 8 if you